YouTube, my name is Mesa Sean, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Alright folks, I've got an absolutely awesome, insane, really fun freezing stasis build. You're saying, well, everything about stasis is about freezing. Well, this one is about more freezing, more super energy, more damage, clearing rooms, and the whole shebang. And we're going to go through it if you set it up properly with an exotic that you probably have not used in a long time, but it works amazing with stasis. We're going to go through all the best mods that you need to use with this build, and don't worry, it's not the whole charge with light system. I know a lot of people love that system, and it's great and everything if you're a pro, but you don't need the charge with light system. You don't have to mix and match all of your gear. However, you will need one void class item. That's the only thing that you're going to need for this build. Everything else is just like relying on stock mods. So, all right, folks, let's get into it. If you enjoyed this video, a like rating really helps me out. Comments help out even more. And if you really want to help the channel out, become a channel member and join an awesome Destiny 2 Mesa Army community over on Discord. They've got a clan set up there for you that's run by the channel members, and it's an amazing community. Let's do this, folks. So what I find with this build is that you're freezing everything around you using your rifts, and that's one of the new fragments, which I'm sure you're quite familiar with. You drop your rift down and everything freezes. But we're going to use an exotic called Vesper of Radius, which also sends out an arc shockwave. But the thing is, when you're surrounded by enemies, you get your rift energy really quickly, so you're constantly getting your rift back. And we're going to set it up with some mods to help that out even further, and also some other even weapons that I really think you should combine with this build to not only get your rifts back, but also to get your grenades back, your melees back, and also give you more super energy. With stasis, this build is all about rifts, constantly freezing things, melees, grenades, and of course getting your supers as quickly as possible. Look at all those motes on the ground. I just annihilated everything. The good old Vesper of Radius. Man, I used to use this back in the Leviathan raid for the final encounter with Callus, because when you jump from pillar to pillar to pillar to do damage, you would have your rift at everyone because of all the war beasts that would be right below you charging up your rift. So you have Planetary Torrent. Rifts release an arc shockwave when cast, and that comes in handy when you're freezing things, because you'll also kill things a lot of times, and if they're not dead, they're probably a yellow bar, and we're going to use part of our build to kill them with a shotgun or something else to then get some more super energy. Also, rift energy recharges faster when you're surrounded by enemies. Now, in doing some testing, I'm pretty sure it's more than 2. I think you got to be like surrounded by 3 to see the real effect of just how fast. More enemies, more rift energy, just put it that way. And I got a really good stat roll on mine with an intellect roll of 22 and 69 total. Now, when it comes to weapons, I'll show you what I use, but in general, you have some good freedom, but I would make some recommendations, okay? One is going to be something with Demolitionist on it. Demolitionist is when you get kills, well, you get more of your grenade energy back. So that's going to come in handy because we want to freeze things more often, because when I show you how we set up our fragments with the aspects, when we freeze things and we kill them, we get more super energy. We also will use something from the seasonal artifact to help us disrupt those pesky overload champions, which can get quite annoying, especially when you don't have your shotgun reloaded. But I'm going to give him a good old finisher here. Boom, right in the head. You'll also notice I'm running around with a shotgun most of the time, because that's part of this build, is that I'm freezing things, and if they're low tier, they're probably going to die from the shockwave that Vesper of Radius puts out. But if they're not, if they're a yellow bar or higher tier enemy, you're going to need that shotgun to finish them off. So let's take a look at the aspects and also the fragments. And the fragments you could fiddle around with just a little bit. So casting your rift will generate a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants. Simple enough. And then we already have our ice flare bolt. So shattering a frozen target will spawn seekers that track and freeze other nearby targets. That's going to play into the fragments and what we want to accomplish with this build. So with the fragments, I like Whisper of Hedrons because you gain bonus weapon damage after you freeze a target with stasis. That's going to come in handy when you freeze, let's say, a yellow bar with your rift, and then you take him out with your shotgun. Well, you're going to have some bonus damage because you froze him. Now, Whisper of Bonds, I love this one. Defeating frozen targets with weapons will grant you super energy. So remember, anything that you freeze from your rift that doesn't die, if you kill them with a weapon, refraction, well, you're going to get super energy. And that's why I get a lot of super energy with this build. Next up, we have Whisper of Fissures, and increases the damage and size and burst of stasis when you destroy stasis crystals or if you defeat a frozen target. Again, we're going to freeze those yellow bars in case they do not die. Next up, we have Whisper of Refraction. Defeating slowed or frozen targets will grant you class ability energy. This is a must. You have to have Whisper of Refraction. You could probably swap out Whisper of Fissures for something else, but Whisper of Refraction, you have to have it. Whisper of Fissures, you can swap it out if you want for Whisper of Shards if you like one of the other grenades. So that's the one that gives you shattering a stasis crystal, will temporarily boost your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals will increase the duration of this benefit. For my grenade with this build, I go with the Dusk-Filled grenade because it's going to slow them down or freeze them if they stand in it long enough. Let me know in the comment section, do you guys like the Glacier grenade? I don't know, that one I find annoying because, one, I have a lot of like randoms if I'm doing Nightfalls or random things. They throw it right in front of me and then I got to shoot through it. And I know it's powerful and it's good, but let me know in the comment section if you like it. I don't particularly care for it. And then you've got the Cold Snap grenade, which it's good in PvP, and actually don't sleep on it in PvE, but I go with the Dusk-Filled. But what's your favorite grenade? If you want your constant melee back, go with Monte Carlo. If you're doing a Nightfall with overloads, well, you could put overload rounds on that auto rifle. If you don't feel like using the shotgun the way I use it, you could run some sort of submachine gun or other weapon that has Demolitionist on it, which will give you, of course, your grenade energy back. But I've got my Prophet of Doom, it's got Feeding Frenzy and 1-2 Punch. I love this thing. I use it in pretty much everything. Again, you pretty much can use any elemental armor you want. Most of my stuff is arc anyway. The Charge with Light system gets annoying because you need to have constant sets of multiple, pieces of armor, Void, Arc, and Solar. I usually will throw a Intellect mod or sometimes a Recovery mod because what does Recovery do? Recovery improves your class ability regeneration. As usual for your helmet, every activity you go into, you got to go in and swap, so just put in whatever ammo finders you are looking for onto your helmet. In terms of the gloves, just put on reloaders, put on another recovery mod if you want. They're also from the seasonal artifact is a unstoppable shotgun mod too, and for me running around with a shotgun, well, this week's Nightfall, or at the time of recording this video, has 2 unstoppables in there. It came in very, very handy to say the least. In terms of your chest mods, definitely go with melee damage resistance because we want to get up close, we want to put those rifts down. You could have some fun with the other ones. I mean, I have an arc Vesper of Radius, so I put on reducing incoming arc damage, but you also have sniper damage resistance where you take incoming damage a little less from long range, but then also you have concussive dampener, reduces incoming area of effect damage. So you can kind of mix and match there, but definitely put on melee damage resistance. On my boots, I've got Void boots, so I can put on Insulation where it reduces class ability cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power, so that comes in handy if you have Void boots and want to do this build, but usually I just put on my Scavengers for the 2 main weapons that I plan to use. You also have Absolution, where it reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an Orb of Power, which is great because they're class agnostic, but the class item you have to have Void. Because you have a Void mod called Perpetuation, where it reduces class ability cooldown when using your class ability, which does come in handy. And quick question, guys, do these stack? I remember I used to always run Double Bomber in the previous season, so I would get my grenade back really, really quickly. Is it down to just, you only need 1 now? Anyway, you also have Surge Eater. That comes in handy for Nightfalls or anything with Overload champions, because when you stun an Overload, well, you get your grenade back instantly. However, if you're using Demolitionist on a weapon, then you don't need it. I would throw on Thermal Overload, where Solar or Stasis grenades will cause disruption to Overload champions. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to leave me a comment of what you think. Try this out. It's a lot of fun. I have so many other builds I want to do and so many other videos. I just haven't gotten to them yet because I've been so busy grinding out power, but now I can finally sit down and do a whole bunch of build guides for you, and a lot of them will revolve around Stasis because it is just so much fun. And again, like I said in my review of Beyond Light and Season of the Hunt, I thought Stasis was going to be a novelty, but nah, you know what, it's a lot of fun and it is really effective. effective depending on how you use it and how you set it up with the right mods, right weapons, and so forth. All right, guys, leave me a comment, and that's it. See you on the next video. Leave me a hashtag made it to the end if you did make it to the end, and do me a favor, drop a like in this video only if you see fit. Follow me on Twitter at Mesa Sean. Check out my stream. Usually know it's on YouTube, and that's it. I am out of here like Vladimir. But first, let's watch this carnage real quick. Freeze everything, pull out the shotgun, go for the champion. Let's see, I got 1-2 punch going for me. I think some more ads are gonna be spawning in. Let's see. Nope. Okay, no. Watch this one here. This is a really cool clip right here. I'm gonna plop it right in a minute. Look at how many. Watch this. Watch. And boom, look at that. Love it. Gotta try this build. All right, I'm babbling. I'll see you guys.